Once the Trimble Access emulator has been installed and opened, a few little preparation steps need to be made. First thing to do will be to set up the normal templates that you'd usually use with a field controller. They would be under Settings and Templates. If you're running the same version of Access as you run on a field controller and you just want to copy the templates across, that would also be fine, but they can be created new on the templates page exactly the same as they would be on a field controller. So just to demonstrate that, even though I've got the two that I usually use set up here, let's go to New. Just going to make an OSTN15 template here, so I could go to Coordinate System, select from Library. I've already got OS selected there. All the usual settings for OSTN15, geoid model on, project height set. Always like to check under the meters section of units that it's set to east-north elevation. I don't need any files attached to the template, so all looks good. Same's true for your metric scale only template. It might be worth just tapping on it and again going to the units where it says meters and just check that it's set to east-north elevation, and if it isn't, just set it, hit accept to finish. So that's the templates side of things set up. So in summary, just set it up as you would normally have your field controller templates configured. The next thing to do is, if the emulator is going to be used to simulate tilt station measurements, to set up a survey style that's going to simulate those types of measurements. So again, going back to Settings, but this time to Survey Styles, tapping New. Give it a name, and the style type will be conventional, and accept. The only thing really to change is on the instrument setting to make this a manual tilt station. So once that's done, hit store and the new survey style is added to the list. So in this video it's going to focus on the use of simulated tilt station measurements. When you launch the emulator for the first time, it's going to open in the Trimble Access General Survey module. If you've installed additional modules with a full license, it is possible to switch as you would on the field controller by going to the relevant module there. I'm going to stick in General Survey for the moment here. There'll be no projects created by default when it first launches. I'm just going to make a project here now. And a job. Got my template picked. Just looked at templates. So anything that you would do with a job or set with a job on a field controller can be done exactly the same in the emulator. It's just worth mentioning that if I go to the menu and Job Data and File Explorer, with the emulator on a PC, your Windows File Explorer is going to open and it's going to point to the projects folder for the emulator. So all the emulator relevant files in terms of projects and settings are installed under Program Data, Trimble, Trimble Access Emulator. On a field controller it would just say Trimble Access, Trimble Data, and then Projects, and we can see the project folder here. If you're looking for system files, then we just need to go up a level to Trimble Data, and the system files folder is there in case you want to copy in any style sheets, additional coordinate system files or code libraries, etc. that normally sit in system files on a field controller. Again, exactly the same for the emulator, just put them in the system files folder. Okay, so we're going to simulate total station measurements. Here I'll show total station measurements, but the same is true for setting out as well, or any of the other functions in general survey. In this case, just have to bear in mind that we're not connected to a real robotic total station, so there's going to be some manual input required. We'll pick the manual TS survey style just set up. Normal stationing options are available. I haven't loaded in any coordinates to the job so far, so I will select a basic station setup. You can skip this corrections page for the emulator. So exactly the same methodology as per a field controller. Backside. Don't have a coordinate keyed in, so I'll just put an azimuth value in. It can be angles only or angles and distance. Because this is a simulated total station, now I have to put in a manually entered HA value. I keep it simple, put in 0, vertical angle 90, slope distance, let's put in 40. And accept, and then store.
Station setup completed.
So it's completed a station setup exactly as would happen in the field with a real controller and total station instrument. So the prism type will just default to a 0 constant prism, as it's not really measuring to a real prism. So to take additional measurements or simulate additional measurements, just hit measure. Coding if appropriate, change the target height to if relevant or required.
Observation stored.
Okay, I can put this across, push it back. So anything available in General Survey will be available in the emulator. Just one last thing to mention here before wrapping up this short video on setting up the emulator and using it to take total station measurements would be the layout of the emulator itself. It's possible to adjust the dimensions. If I go to help and about and support, you can see here simulate device as an entry. So it's possible to pick alternative layouts of the emulator to simulate the dimensions and the screen size of other commonly used Trimble field controllers. And that concludes this video.